Hello everyone. This week we're going back to basics and we're going to talk about the first card of the tarot deck, which is Bart?
None other than the Fool.
The Fool, yes. The Fool card. I think we've done this before, haven't we?
Oh, we've already done the Fool before, yeah. The Fool.
This time we're going to go into a bit more of the structure and what it means to Crowley, because the Crowley writes more on the Fool card than he does any other card, by about 3 times, basically. The verse that he uses at the back of the book is twice as long as all the other verses, double the size. The meaning is longer as well. And, you know, the whole thing about the Fool, it's always this blaze of energy, it comes in, he leaps in and everything else, and it's all chaos and everything else. Yes. But Crowley structures the Fool card in a way that closely parallels the NAUGHT card in the Book of Lies, basically. Isn't that right, Bart?
Yes.
This is going to be fun for us. He's looking at, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Fool is endless. Eh? It is. I was also, you realize that everyone who buys a new deck, that's the first card you see it.
Yeah. It is incredibly important to us, to Crowley. And, you know, he has this kind of structure thing that he goes through with the meaning of the card. And one of the interesting things about this card is that normally you put the description of what the card is right at the top, at the front. But Crowley actually puts this right at the end of his commentary and analysis. It's an addendum almost, basically. And this tells us something about how Crowley created and wrote the Book of Thoth, because it suggests that he wrote the book, but, you know, the design of the tarot card of the tarot cards wasn't fixed, and probably right at the last minute, this is the card that we're using, and he wrote that at the end because that'd be the easiest and logical place to put it. So, you know, the Book of Thoth itself isn't written in 1940 or whatever. It's written way before then. And it took all that time for Frieda Harris's designs to match up and harmonize with his vision of what he really wanted to do. So we thought we'd start at the beginning with the Fool, which means that we start from the end of the book, because that's where Crowley writes about the verse, the first verse. And that's in the chapter, it's called, what is it, Bart?
What is it? The general characteristics. What is it? Let me see again. The general characteristics of the trumps as they appear in use. Yeah.
You seem a bit quieter on this. I don't know. Okay, so you're going to read out verse 0, the first one.
Where this comes from a book of Crowley's, actually. Eh?
Yes, it does. It comes from
the Heart of the Master.
Yes, all of these come from the Heart of the Master, which he wrote quite a long time before, actually. So if you buy the Heart of the Master, they have the tarot cards in there, but of course these verses were written years beforehand as well. So this is one of his cut and paste things. I call it cut and paste. It's grossly unfair because he just structures things beautifully to bring everything together. So read the Heart of the Master is a really good book to read on the subject of the Bart's gone to get it.
I think
you can see we rehearsed this, can't you? Yes, I've got exactly the same one as well. Well, add that to the list of things to discuss in the future, Bart, that we never remember.
The Heart of the Master.
The Heart of the Master. That's a good one to do. Okay then, Bart, take it away.
All right. Know not, all ways are lawful to innocence. Pure folly is the key to initiation. Silence breaks into rapture. Be neither man nor woman, but both in one. Be silent, babe in the egg of blue, that thou mayest grow to bear the lance and the GRAAL, GRAAL, whatever, wander alone and sing. In the king's palace, his daughter awaits thee.
That verse is a summary of what we're going to try and attempt in structuring and analysing Crowley's insights into the air card. It's all about from unity comes duality, basically, and he's talking about his favourite equation, naught equals 2. That's what it's all about, and it's a tetragrammaton, and it's our way of doing the 3 cards that go into one as well. So there's the next to the verse is the meaning of the cards. I'll do this one, Bart. Okay. So this is the meaning of the full card. In spiritual matters, the full means idea, thought, spirituality, that which endeavours to transcend earth. In material matters, it may, if badly dignified, mean folly, eccentricity, or even mania. But the essential of this card is that it represents an original, subtle, sudden impulse or impact coming from a completely strange quarter. All such impulses are right if rightly received, and the good or ill interpretation of the card depends entirely on the right attitude of the querent. He's saying a lot of things there. He's saying that even if the card is negatively aspected, it's still a good thing because we're talking about duality here. And it's interesting, he says the full means idea, thought, spirituality, that which endeavours to transcend earth. And of course, in the Rider-Waite deck, he's flying in the air, isn't he? And we expect him to land, to transcend earth. I mean, the letter Aleph is the card, is the letter. Aleph is the letter associated with the full card, and Aleph means air, and it's the plough, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
So the plough is the thing that breaks up the earth and makes it fertile. Sexual reference there, if you think about it. So he says in spiritual matters, it's idea, thought, and spirituality. In material matters, if badly dignified, mean folly, eccentricity, or even mania. So there's those 2 aspects, and then he brings even a third answer to all of this, which is more that it's an original, subtle, sudden impulse or impact coming from a strange quarter. I mean, the thing is, if the fall is prominent in the future, things are going to change, and you don't know where they're going to come from, but they're going to change. So there's no point in trying to work it out. It won't be what you think. Yes, Bart.
Have you ever heard of the book? It's a Dutch book, where The Praise of Folly by, I think it's Erasmus. It's in 1700. It's a very old book. Yeah. But I haven't read the book itself. I just know about the book because it's Dutch and I'm Flemish, so we learn about this literature. Right. But it's very, the theme is just how people who are fools are closer to God than any devout person could ever be. Well, the madness, isn't it? The intoxication. Yes, you recognize a lot of the Crowley's fool in that book. Well, a holy man is often a crazy man as well. We have all these kind of ideas of, the fool's, is able to impart things to the boss that other people can't say about. Now, I don't know if you're gonna find this. The Fool card. I have a lot of other tarot games, and in the very oldest one I have is some Marseilles, the Jean Noblet tarot, which is the oldest Marseilles tarot that I know about. Have you seen this Fool? Right. What's the? Yes. Yes. Have you seen how it's not so subtle, actually? What with the? This is the only Fool card I know, and it's the oldest. It's supposed to be original of the original wood cuttings, the engravings. And you see quite explicitly a brightly coloured willy hanging out.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you'll have to send me an image, so we'll stick that in the video. See, it's a good example of not knowing what to expect with a full card, because I didn't know he was going to do that. So, and of course, there's the mnemonic that goes with this, which is a 2-line kind of thing. And the mnemonic for this one is quite simple. It says truth, laughter, lust, wine's holy fool, veil rent, lewd madness is sublime enlightenment. So there's this whole thing of alcohol and intoxication that's going on in.
And Dionysos is mentioned later as well. He's the god of. Later on, we will mention Dionysus, who is also the god of wine.
Yeah, well, he's part of the full card himself, isn't he?
Bacchus, Bacchus, isn't he mentioned as well?
Bacchus, yes, yes. We the design of the full. Okay. So, in the first line of the design of the full, he says, "The design of the present card resumes the principal ideas of the above essays." What's happening to my English? So this is a representation of the Crowley's writings on the full, which we'll come to in a bit. So he says the full is the gold of air, is of the gold of air. Well, that gold is something precious. So this is the gold is something that you have to get out of the ground, don't you? You have to purify and refine.
Normally fire.
Yeah, but you'd be purifying by fire, wouldn't you? And gold represents
silver
kingship.
Is water and gold is fire normally.
Yeah, gold is kingship as well, isn't it? And pretty much at the center of the full card is the circle of the sun. And when you look at the sun card, of course, you see the twins on there, and he calls that Heru Raha, which are the divine twins. So this is a direct link to the sun card that's going on here as well, and the gold. And that would be at Tippereth, which is, so we've gone from, well, actually Crowley says, really the fall is above Keter. Okay,
I
so
need to write this down because the twins would also make a great video.
Yes, yes. Well, that'd be another story, won't it? The terrible twins.
Because we're going to forget Heart of the Master and the twins.
We're actually writing something down.
Yeah, this is on a post-it. The good thing is I can just hang it in my way until
reminder. Note to self.
Because if I put it somewhere, I'll lose it.
Well, that'll be the next couple of videos done, won't it? We can do a series on the full then, in this sense.
But the twins is more than the fool. The twins appear on several cards in the deck.
Well, the twins are. It has the twin gods in the full card as well, in the analysis as well. So we're going to come to that at some point. Tons of stuff here to do on the full.
Yeah, because there is this. I've once done some quite deep research about the twins. Deep research, and yeah, there's a whole idea behind those twins. It's
massive. It's massive.
Yeah.
So as soon as we start talking about the design of the full card, we instantly go to the sun.
And the sun is located the center of the card, which happens to be the sexual organs of the fool.
Yes.
Now, there's a weird analogy with the what's he called? The Vesuvian man, the Vitruvian man?
Vitruvius, yes. The man who's...
There was a scandal about this at the time when it was newly made, that he also made the sexual organs the center, the geometrical center of the figure.
Right. Well, of course, the other thing, if you're putting their genitals, that's Yesod. So that's the sun over Yesod, which is another sense of duality, the sun and the moon. They're working together, the polarities as well. So we're already into polarities. Yeah, we've only done the first line, basically. We're into the second sentence.
But if the whole of the fool would be a tree of life, then Oh no, then the sun would be actually higher up, eh?
Yes.
Because yeah, that's Yesod. That's not the sun.
Yesod with the center.
Yes.
Yesod below. Yes. So so we're straight away into Crowley's favourite subject, sex. We'll have to do the Two of Swords some point as well, won't we, Bart? That'd be an interesting one to do.
I'll make sure I get the translation right this time.
We had a discussion in tarot groups. I put the question up about the Two of Swords in particular, and the Two of Swords means reconciliation. It's the air card. The two is the essence of air, basically. All the twos, Two of Cups, Two of Wands, Two of Swords, Two of Discs. They all represent the essence of each element. And, you know, I mean, it's reconciliation, basically. So if a woman has a reading and she wants to know if this man, a particular man's going to come back, the Two of Swords is always a good sign that he will. And it's basically, that's the kind of meaning. But Crowley makes an incredible analysis in just a few lines. Not just the naughty bit.
He ruins the whole thing.
Huh?
He ruins the whole thing.
We'll talk about it another day. So then we've done the Fullness of God of Air. He has the horns of Dionysus Zagreus. So this is the things on top of his head. The horns, you know, that could also be a. I mean, they can be the horns of a bull, can't they? And all sorts of things that are going on.
Pan.
Pan. Yes. And he has the horns of Dionysus Zagreus, and then he says between them is the phallic cone, white light, representing the influence from the crown upon him.
Does that make him a knobhead? Yes.
Yeah, upstairs I think I've been elevating the conversation, but the whole thing about the bull.
If you want elevating, then we shouldn't be discussing these dirty books here.
That's true. That's true. So then he says he is shown against the background of air, dawning from space. So we had the gold of air to start with. The fall is of the gold of air, coming from the background of air, dawning from space. So this is quite, and then he says, and his attitude is that of one bursting unexpectedly upon the world. That's quite an extraordinary sort of statement there, isn't it? So from the air, it's like pow. It's like the Big Bang, basically. He's describing there, isn't he? Pretty much. From space, create something unexpected in the world. So there's two spaces there. There's three spaces, isn't he? He's talking about the gold of air, the background of air, dawning from space. Well, space is a vacuum. So it is coming from nothing to something, and there's two of them, the gold of air and the background of air. So we actually you can always see that as point value and infinity, can't you? Knew it and had it, basically, would be another way of describing that, wouldn't it? So just in that first paragraph, it's all about space.
But he makes reference in the parts before this, the design of the cards. He talks about legends and tales, and in this first paragraph, he already makes numerous references to the things that he mentioned before this.
Yeah. It's all very self-referential.
It's weird how before this part he talks about the Fool in general. It's only from here on, the design of present card, where you actually get the impression he's actually talking about this card.
Yes. Yes.
And all the rest is more the concept of the Fool that he's trying to explain.
Yes, but also with the verse, he's actually following on from the same system here. So in a sense, I mean, he is kind of trying to describe the design of the card, but he's also bringing in extra ideas, isn't he, about this thing from a strange quarter, from space, from nothingness comes something.
And also how he shows the fool as 0, he shows the fool as 1, he shows the fool as 2, he shows the fool as 3.
Yeah.
I found that was also something that struck me, how actually at all the fool is everything.
It is incredibly structured. You know, I mean, we're almost going ahead of ourselves by discussing the design of the card here, because this is all of these things. He's describing Genesis basically in this card. It is extraordinarily deep, and you know, there's a lot of meditation you can do on these things. So then he goes on to what the fool is wearing. He is clad in green, according to the tradition of spring. And of course, spring is Easter, rebirth, regrowth, the death of Jesus and his rebirth as well. And the idea of spring is where, you know, where everything bursts into life.
Bambi.
Bambi does.
Bambi. If you ever seen the Walt Disney film Bambi, it perfectly explains the concept of spring.
Right.
Have you ever seen it?
Yes, I have, a long time ago.
Come on,
I cried.
There is no better. Huh?
I cried.
Especially when his mommy died.
Hmm?
When his mommy died.
Yeah, something
When the
like
evil
that.
hunters shot Bambi's mommy.
Oh yeah, yes. You'll get over it one day. See your therapist. You know.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I know. It's. I like the song of the Sex Pistols. Who killed Bambi? You know that song? Sorry, we're deviating. We're not talking about the fool anymore. Sorry.
You're very good at deviating, aren't you? Oh dear. So, you know, I'm trying to elevate this, but we're back onto the subject. So he says he's clad in green, according to the tradition of spring, but his shoes are of the phallic gold of the sun. So if you didn't really think of the sun as phallic, now it's going to stick. So then, see these interesting shoes. You know, you have a pair of shoes. There's always duality, isn't there, with shoes? You know, pair of socks, pair of shoes. And so now it's the phallic gold of the sun. So we've had the gold of air. Where else do we have it? The cone of white light. We haven't talked about the cone of white light either, have we? That's another interesting concept that comes from the Golden Dawn, basically. And that'll take up a few episodes of videos to talk about as well. Which is the influence of the crown. The crown is gold because crowns are gold and crowns represent the king. So we have another solar reference there. So this is all about air, but it's a lot of solar phallic presentations here. Oh dear me. I've just read the
little footnote there.
Sorry?
By the word crown, there's a footnote.
Yes, Keter, see the position of the path of Aleph on the tree of life. The path, I'm going in London now, the path of Aleph is from Keter to Hukmah. The crown to the whirling, spinning cosmos.
Like this.
Yes, it goes across like that, yeah. Oh dear, we're coming to more sex again. Okay. In his right hand, he bears the wand tipped with a pyramid of white of the All-Father. Right. So, Bart?
Well, I've been struggling to find that.
What?
In his right hand. Oh, I've always thought that was a cup. He bears the wand tipped with a pyramid of white. I mean, yeah,
well,
I mean.
See, now we have white again. We had the cone of white light. Okay. And now it's a pyramid of white. And it's of the All-Father. The All-Father goes back to this idea of Genesis, of creation from the Father and the Mother. So the All-Father, Of course, there's a pun in this as well, because all means everything. But Kabbalistically, ALL is 61, which means nothing. And the father is Hukmah. So we're in that area as well. So you started with the gold is the Tipreth, which is the sun. Okay. Yes. And it's the SON and the SUN. But we go from this to the right hand with a pyramid of white, which he says represents the All-Father. Let's see. Are you keeping up here?
Oh, yes, I know. And you know, we both think the same about this pyramid of white of the All-Father.
We do?
But yeah, I think...
Remind me.
I think with the pyramid of white, that white and the All-Father, I think he must be referring to semen.
Yes. Yes. You're right. Right. I think we'll have to X-rate this video now. You know, the four seem so innocent and pure, but actually, it's
semen
a lot.
Is a decent word, eh?
Sorry?
Semen is a decent way to say it, eh? There's plenty of other words we could have said that would.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Well done for
but I've always thought that was a cup. When you see it, it looks like a cup.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Well, it's
remember.
Actually totally the exact opposite.
Keep on talking while I look for my full card.
Yeah, when I saw it, although I've already read this book a couple of times, but like this is the first time with the card next to it, and it's not a wand. It looks like a cup he's holding upside down. But yeah, it must be a wand if Crowley says so. The man made the deck.
Well, I mean, the thing is, also he's making the point about the way he wants the card to represent and how the final design would have been more on artistic interpretation as much as anything else. It's the teaching that goes with this card. Oh, right, yes. His right hand.
Yeah, when you look in his right hand, it looks like a cup, and in his left, it looks like a wand of fire.
Well, it may well be intended to do that as well, actually. You know, just to kind of muddy up the waters.
Mm-hmm.
In his left hand, he bears the flaming pine cone of similar significance, but more definitely indicating vegetable growth. So,
and he refers to a story. The pine cone comes earlier as well in the stories.
Yeah, somewhere, isn't there?
A pine cone on which one is it? The Queen of Discs.
Queen of Wands.
Don't know.
Well,
but there is ones with pine cones.
Yeah.
Elsewhere in the deck.
Yes, yeah, there is. You're right.
The ones on the Queen of Discs. I think the Queen of Discs, doesn't she have one? Well, I could be wrong. I don't know.
So the thing is, vegetable growth. So we have the All-Father on the right-hand side. So really, the other way of looking at this is he's actually talking about what the All-Father would be Hukmah, and then the other hand would be Bina. So the father is Hukmah, and Bina is the mother, and it's the nurturing growth kind of thing that's coming from fertility, and the verdant growth and everything else is very much a feminine kind of thing. And from his left shoulder hangs a bunch of purple grapes. It says purple grapes represent fertility, sweetness, and the basis of ecstasy. Of course, you turn.
Yeah, with ecstasy, wine. He means wine.
Yeah, exactly. Bacchus. So his left shoulder hangs the purple grapes. I mean, purple, that's very much the color of either Yazod or Sagittarius, isn't it? I seem to remember something like that. So it's probably Yazod in this case.
I wouldn't know.
Wouldn't you think so?
I don't know my colors by heart.
So that is there anyway. So we've only done the first inch of the card so far. So he's working down from the top, isn't he? And of course, the shape of him, sort of like this as well, is very much like Aleph as well. You see, sort of stylized version. You see,
because what I've always found intriguing was when you connect, like you've done in your book, when you connect the universe to the Fool card.
Mm.
But I think that could make a whole video by itself. But because they are both symbolic representations of the same event, but they are just represented in another way.
The
So
beginning.
I've always been fascinated. Huh?
The beginning is in the end.
Well, the birth of Dionysus, the birth of Phanes is that's an image, and it shows great resemblance to the universe card. It's got the Vesica Pisces around it,
Right.
and it's got, this is one of the first representations there were of the 4 cherubs,
Right.
in 4 corners.
Yes.
So you would, and this is supposed to be Dionysus and all.
Yes.
So the birth of Dionysus as well.
Yes.
But you would expect there to be 4 cherubs in the corner.
Well, he has the hands and the feet, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And the feet are phallic. So I mean, Frida Harris didn't really kind of go with that phallic thing, did she? With the boots.
Oh well, it was almost
Just as well, I would think.
It was almost Harpo Marx on this card.
No, the thing is, yeah, I mean, the thing is if you add Aleph, the Fall and the Universe card, which I paired in my book, The Tao and the Magus, Aleph Tau represents essence. It's the first and the last letters, and it's a kind of alchemical thing that's going on there as well. And he actually says the grapes develop into rainbow-hued worlds. Well, the worlds, it looks like bags of money underneath the grapes, doesn't it? That's what I think.
The worlds. Oh, that bags. Yeah, does it? They look like bags of money.
Yeah. So we've got air, fire, water, and earth in that case. Air is in the right hand. No, fire. Yeah, no, I guess no. He's counter attributed things here, hasn't he? So he's mixed them all up, which is how you should do it anyway.
Yeah. Now,
so this ecstasy is shown by the stem of the grapes developing into rainbow-hued worlds, spirals. But that looks like that. I suppose is he talking about the 3 loops, the 3.5 loops?
So, yeah. You would think so. So these are supposed to be the roots of the grapes turning into the loops.
Yes. And it says the form of the universe, which, as you said, if we did, you're always reading on a bit ahead on these things, aren't you, Bart?
On what? Where what?
The form of the universe after rainbow-hued spirals. And he says this suggests the veil of the negative manifesting by his intervention in divided light. Because in the Bible, of course, the light was divided, wasn't it? There's a division.
Well, it is quite. It's not magic. I find it quite. If you know full is 0, and you know 0 stands for nothing.
Yes.
And then these three circles clearly mean the 3 levels, veils of nothingness.
And stuff. Yes. So in a sense, you think you've come from. You start at the top with this duality and the father and the mother, but actually we still haven't left the supernal triangle, because it's actually beyond that, because the veils of the threefold veils of the negative are beyond the supernal triangle anyway. So you've kind of come down and boing, gone straight back up again. But of course, everything is in Keter anyway. So it's a kind of a beautiful image of the Kabbalistic doctrines that's going on in this kind of thing. I mean, I've always sort of noticed, right at the center of the card where the sun is, he says euphemistically, there's a horizontal line. And behind that, we can actually see you can either see that as a pyramid or as the supernal triangle. It's there.
It's funny how the bag of money doesn't go below that line.
It doesn't, does it? It's cut off.
It rests on top of it.
I mean, there's also a balancing thing, isn't there? That blue of the bag of money, we're calling it the bag of money for want of any better thing, is reflected in the blue kind of light on the left-hand side. Where the
and you have these 2 triangles in this image. You have a triangle that starts above his head.
Yes.
And you have a triangle that starts on his chest.
Yes. And there's also a line by his knees as well.
Yes.
where there's an interesting thing. I mean, of course, that kind of sort of phallic sort of thing that shows up there is actually a reflection of the devil card as well, isn't it?
Yeah, because
you mentioned.
Where was it that I read? I read somewhere. I don't know if it was in Book of Thoth even. When I've been sort of reading so much, sometimes you lose track. That the concept that people have of the devil card, that's actually the Fool card.
Yes, yes. And he actually mentions the devil card in this thing because the devil is Pan, which is all.
Yes.
So and of course the devil card is the 26th path, and the 26th and the number 26 is Yod Hey Vav Hey. We're back to the tetragrammaton as well. You see.
2 times 13.
So we're basically going around 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 basically in this card in various kind of ways. So there's probably 1, 2, 3. There's probably 4 levels within this card that we're looking at, because there's this strange blue line sort of thing coming from underneath the dove that's coming down on the right hand, on the left hand side as we look at it, between the butterfly and the dove.
Yes.
Which we're not quite sure what that's about. And of course,
that's the vulture.
Is it the vulture?
Yeah, that's the vulture.
Oh, right. We also have the Caduceus in there in the spiral as well, on the right hand side, which he doesn't mention in the description.
I've been looking at that ivy that they're on about. Where is that?
The ivy.
Oh yeah, there's that one leaf on his shoulder.
Oh, okay. Right. So much going on in this card, isn't there? Yes, there is that triangle, isn't there, above his head that comes down. And then there's that one. So essentially what we have is the 3 triangles that you see on the Tree of Life as well. Because, you know, then this would be him as Adam Kadmon as well, wouldn't it?
Yes.
That you have all of this as well. There's a lot going on in this card, you know. Right. So we got to the vowel of the negative manifesting by his intervention. So the Fool is by his intervention, he's creating and manifesting all of this, generating, manifesting. I hadn't thought this far. I didn't realize we were going to get so.
It's the Big Bang, actually.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. And it says, upon this spiral wall are rather attributions of Godhead. So, I mean, this is the man, but it's also the Godhead as well that's going on there. God the Father, God the All-Father we have there. We have the vulture of Maut, the dove of Venus, which can be Isis or Mary. So there's the feminine energies. The ivy sacred to his devotees. I think that's Bacchus, isn't it? We're going back into with the ivy. There is also the butterfly of many-coloured air, and the wind globe with twin servants. So it's a wind globe. It's not. Well, it is a kind of Caduceus as well, isn't it? But he says it's the wind globe.
It is a Caduceus, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, but that became the winged globe. And of course, that's a reference to Mercury, because Mercury and the Fool are in essence the same things differently.
And Hadith is a winged globe.
Newton had it. Yes, he's had it. The winged globe with its twin serpents, which is the Caduceus. A symbol which is echoed and fortified by the twin infants embracing on the middle spiral. I think Frida Harris gave up at that point.
On what?
Fortified by the twin infants embracing on the middle pillar.
Middle spiral.
Yeah, well, can you see twin infants there?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they're at the bottom, just by his.
Yeah.
Yeah, just at the bottom there. They're not where he says there.
Who is there? They are Seth and Horus, and I think he means there are 3 spirals, you know, and they're on the middle spiral.
Yes. So that's Seth and Horus. So of course, then you have Isis, because then you have the whole legend of Horus, don't you? And the dismemberment and everything else. So he's bringing in
So
all of it as well.
So we started with nothingness.
Yeah.
In the meantime, now he already became
Something.
the first,
yes,
very first manifestation of anything.
Yeah.
And then he has no gender, so he could become either one or the other.
Yes.
Then you have the two twins as well, so that's number 2.
That's duality.
Together they make 3. So, and 0, 1, 2, and 3 together, they make 4 different things, and 4 is 10. And here we go.
Ah, so now we know where the twin infants are here. And
Yes.
the symbol above, he actually says, above them hangs the benediction of 3 flowers in one. So it's 3 flowers. But of course, it can also look as something else as well. So we're into the Trinity again, aren't we?
Hmm?
We're into the Trinity again.
Yes.
All of this. We haven't left it. We're still basically in the supernal triangle. Fawning upon him is the tiger. Fawning. So, you know, tigers don't fawn, do they?
Yeah, and this is in the older tarot cards, this was a dog.
Yes. But a tiger, you know, also we see the tiger, I think, in the Princess of Wands, don't we, as well?
Yes, and oh no, it's not a tiger on the Queen of Wands. It's
that's a leopard, I think, isn't it?
It's a leopard, eh?
Yes, yes. And beneath his
tiger,
feet,
you can also see a tiger on the Lost card.
Can he?
It's also feline. It's also a big feline.
Maybe Frida Harris wasn't very good at drawing lions and tigers.
No, but you have to look. For me, these cards that we just mentioned, they are like a comic book. The first card is the Princess of Wands, where you get the tiger.
Hmm.
Then the Princess of Wands becomes the Queen of Wands, and the tiger is like changing his spots.
Right.
He's becoming a leopard. It's explained like that in the book as well. And for me, I think the next card then is the Lost card. So it's actually 3 times the same feline, is just transformed.
Well, it's all about transformation, isn't it? It's alchemical.
Yeah, and the butterfly on the Fool card also signifies transformation.
Yes, yes. So the tiger, which is a symbol, you know, the hunter, and it's the jungle and everything else. There aren't many tigers in Egypt, I wouldn't have thought. You know, lions, but not tigers. And beneath these feet in the Nile, so we have water at the bottom, is the crocodile.
He mentions with its lotus stems.
Well, lotus, the thing about the lotus is purity, isn't it? And they're circular as well. And
how it grows in muck.
Yes. Yeah, and it's very much a symbol in Hinduism, isn't it, of purity coming from all of these things. And he says, resuming all his many forms and many coloured images in the centre of the figure, the focus of the microcosm is the radiant sun, which we started talking about, didn't we, anyway, because... And then it says the whole picture is a glyph of the creative light. So this is duality of light. We end up with the sun again. We start with the sun at the top, and everything is all about the sun in this card. Wow. I reckon this is going to be a good place to end the first video on this one, don't you, Bart? This is something, you know, the next video, we're going to go a bit more into Crowley's analysis of what he's discussing here, basically. So we've sort of hopefully tried to give you an idea of the structure in a kind of muddled way, because it is muddled, it is not simple and straightforward. Just how much Kabbalistic law and physics and alchemy and mathematics comes into all of this as well too at some point too, and also the formula of the tetragrammaton when we do the 3-in-1. This is all to do with these things. So we'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, give us some likes, some comments would be really great, and join us in our tarot groups, the Book of Thoth tarot group and the Thoth tarot group. All in the details down below. If you'd like a reading from me, get in touch, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.